Alright, everybody. Welcome again to 40 Hours a Day Twitch broadcast. I'm Irola, one of the hosts, and then we have Orden,
Hello.
Junum,
Hi, yes.
Wicked,
Hello.
and then our guest today is Architect.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Oh.
Well, what is today's topic? I believe it is Orden's turn, correct?
Yes. After I brought this topic up to Rolla, he said it might be a no-brainer, but the topic is, do video games cause violence in children?
This is a topic that I very much know well, so I'll just wait and see what everybody else has.
You mean you know it well?
I've debated this several times with a couple of my friends.
And I certainly hope it was a no.
As I disagree. It's not cause violence in children.
Well, it all depends on what you consider violence.
I believe it all comes up to their upbringing. If their parents did not teach them right, then of course they're going to do whatever the hell they want to do.
I mean, I believe I've watched a study in my psychology class where they prove that video games cause aggressive impulses, but you still have to choose to be violent, which I don't believe is.
I like to believe that by themselves they do not. I believe if they cause violent impulses in you, there are other contributing factors that play along with it. It wouldn't just be a sole entity on its own.
I think I understand what you're saying. You're saying that it wouldn't be solely because of video games.
Yes, they might have been what triggered it, but definitely because something was already there that makes you more prone to suggestion.
Basically saying they got PTSD and then that sets it off.
Yeah, I mean, that could essentially be one form of it, yes, but for lack of a specific cause, yeah, I would believe that could in fact be a reason.
I don't even know how. We need a counter argument somewhere.
I mean, the problem is none of us agree with it. We're all in agreement to disagree.
Well, it's like Damocles just said. You mean that video games might act as a catalyst? Yes, that would be the word. It would be a catalyst, not necessarily the cause, though. Like the sole cause. It has to react with an additional stimuli.
Okay, does anybody here believe that video games do cause violent impulse tendencies or whatever?
Talking to a bunch of gamers, I mean, you honestly, I don't think it's possible. I can't even trying to think how to play devil's advocate even in this scenario.
That is why I thought it would be a fun topic.
Because
If we
Not
had
so
someone
much.
that believed that it could, then it would work, but sadly we're all on the same page for this one.
Well, I haven't heard from Wicked yet, unless she absolutely agreed.
I'm trying to figure out a way to play devil's advocate.
it's not an
they
easy
cause
one.
everybody to become a complete dick. I am totally against video games. Air quotes.
I mean, it's really hard to play because eventually, eventually it's all going to come down to there was something wrong with them in the begin with. There was something physically not right with them and their mental state in the begin with, be it they weren't in the right place, they weren't in a dad
Not
was
in the right state
abusive
of mind.
sort of thing. There's something not right with them in the begin with, and I can't find a counter argument as to why that's going to be any other way, because I've pretty much grown up on video games.
Hmm.
Then
I don't
again,
feel like him. Go ahead.
Well,
then again, some people find the argument that Wile E. Coyote is too violent, but yet they'll go have their kids play Grand Theft Auto 5 or something along those lines. It's just, really?
See, I'm
Well-
basically with you on that one for the fact that there's too many people that try to use it as a BS excuse just for the simple fact, I'm sorry, I have seen way worse things on the news and in movies and things like that than video games ever come close to.
true. Would you, however, say that video games have the ability to increase aggressive tendencies?
No more than going to school would.
That is fair enough. School is not a wonderful experience.
Trying to look up one of these people
Anybody have a
fucking who
backup?
debate the other points, because this is
Backup.
difficult. I mean,
There you go. We'll read some.
Right.
We'll read
Totally
some
agree with you on that
counter-arguments
one,
here.
Timothy. He said no more than watching a football match. See, that's another thing. I've seen more people get into arguments and fights, rioting, all that crap, due to sports than you ever. Well, actually, I can't even think of one time a riot has happened because of a video game. Most people are there to get the damn game and go home and play it, not the fuck ass around and.
there was a shooting for the consoles, right?
Please.
Wasn't it during
Console's not a video
PS3's
game.
release?
Uh,
It's as close to the realm as we're gonna get for this argument.
I've seen violence
Right.
break
Yeah,
out
but
at
there are-
early releases.
Yeah, but there are people who get stabbed on a regular basis for sneakers.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there have been crimes that have mimicked gameplay scenarios, but like I said, it goes back to the point that people have something mentally wrong with them in the first place. They literally think that this game is something that is in real life at that point.
Well, there you go. That could kind of be an argument. Let's say these people have a twitch or something already wrong with them. If they to never play video games and they didn't snap, do you think video games could be that thing that triggers it inside them though, whereas normally nothing would have happened?
Say that again one more time.
Let's say you have like you stated, PTSD. Normally you would never act on it, yet you play a game and that game brings it out in you. Would you argue that that would be then caused by the video game?
I would say it's a side effect. I wouldn't say it's what caused it.
I wouldn't even give it a side effect.
I would still.
There's no
personally feel-
personal attachment to the video game whatsoever.
I don't know about you, but sometimes I get very attached to my video games, okay?
It's about
If
the
you're
same.
talking
I can
about
play a
good
Final Fantasy
storytelling,
really
Art,
in depth in it.
but let's think about things like this. Okay, so whenever you're playing a game, the objective is to win the game, right?
Right.
Yes.
So in order to win a game, say like Grand Theft Auto, because it's supposedly one of the most violent besides, like, I think Rampage 2 or whatever it is now. The objective is to win the game. The game devs don't give you an alternate way to win. So whenever you're sitting there mowing down people, these aren't people that have hugely attached storylines or anything to it. Minus the newest Grand Theft Auto, but that's I'm sure we'll get to that one.
Well,
You're just
You could
there's
argue that those.
you're fulfilling a victory condition.
Yeah, and I can see where people that have an already set problem would, what's the difference between random people in a video game and just random people that you don't know? I think
Sorry,
it
my
might,
first
in a
immediate
sense,
answer has to
build.
be one's a set of fucking pixels. But I
Right.
know that's not what you're going
But
for.
does it build? Does it build desensitivity towards it though?
I hate everybody equally for the
I
most
have
part,
no
and I'm not gonna
numbers.
go out and start killing people with dildos and fucking assault rifles and sandpaper.
But does it create desensitivity towards it?
No, I still hate him. I've
I
hated him
mean,
before I've
there
ever
should
played a
be-
video
there
game.
should be naturally something inside you that goes, "Hey, hurting another human being feels pretty shitty."
But
you
does
should
it in
have
Grand
that
Theft
in your
Auto?
head.
Yeah, but
It's
some
kind
people
of,
don't
it's
have
kind
that,
of like, you could say it's kind of almost like a training simulator. It is slowly but surely rewarding you and giving you a pleasure sense via a video game in return for killing these people. It's rewarding you for going out there, slaughtering a bunch of people, and giving you money for it. Or levels, depending on the game. But if we're gonna go with Grand Theft Auto, I stole this car, I killed this hooker, and I got $50. Even though it's a video game, I just got rewarded for that. Over time and at a young age building up, I could, I guess, see if you met a certain, lack of guidance and lack of proper parenting, I could see that maybe training you into a more likely,
candidate.
lifestyle.
I understand where you're going with that, but I don't agree with that one for the fact that I played Sonic when I was younger, growing up, and I don't go around spinning around in circles and then jumping on people and taking their rings out of their pocket and going to the finish line and cheering.
But I mean, you have to understand, Grand Theft Auto is just doing that because that's their franchise. You would not go to. Why do people go to Hooters?
Well, that's my point, though, is it might be their franchise, and I'm not blaming them for it. I'm just merely saying it could be a catalyst for it.
I mean, everything has the potential to turn people into terrible people.
But I could see it potentially.
I don't know. I mean, it's back to that cause effect thing. If it's a kid, you normally wouldn't let your kid play those games. You are not letting them play those games in the first place, or at least stay there with them and explain to them why this is not a video game.
True.
Then
But
that's a cause. Your parents never told you morally what's right and wrong.
But is lack of parenting a mental disorder?
I call that a
It isn't
disorder,
some
period.
people.
I was gonna say, if a lack of guidance is a mental disorder, then yes, but if literally just no one was there to teach you, you're not necessarily. There's not necessarily anything mentally wrong with you, but this game is giving you a reward center. It is training you through desensitivity and basically rewarding you to go out there and shoot massive amounts of people.
Yes, but
And
if you want to use
commit
that as an
crimes.
argument, what about people that play like I'm trying to think of a retarded game. Okay, let's say I can't think of a game. So a game where you pet puppies and you get rewarded for pet puppies.
Nintendo.
Does that mean you're going around? Yeah, okay, there we go. Does that mean you're going around pet puppies all the damn time because you got rewarded for petting puppies?
If you gave them a reward for petting puppies, then yeah, I could see if all you do every day
I
is
don't
play this
think it'll
game
happen.
where you pet puppies and you get reward, then you're gonna see a puppy for the first time. You'd be like, hey, there's a puppy.
I feel like your arguments fell apart already. Where do we see people riding around running over or not strippers,
I think
prostitutes?
it happens a lot of the time.
I mean,
So waiting for them to drop money. I mean, do you see them getting out of their car? Did you drop any money? No, I
They
guess
do
not.
drop money though. It's in their purse. But I think it less than them just going out there to, you know, expecting to get money or anything. I think it just desensitizes them to them, and they start to not see anything wrong with it.
Societal roles play too much of a role in that. I don't think video games have anything to do with it. People go around killing prostitutes because, you know, here in the US especially, people in, I don't know if I want to go as far as calling it a profession, because in its current state it's not. But those people who are working that particular field are shunned by our society, so of course they're desensitized already by religious banter that it's okay to kill them because they're less than human beings to normal society's eyes.
That is true.
I mean, does anyone want to look up the statistics for, what's that country that legalizes sex work?
What,
Amsterdam?
prostitution?
Amsterdam? Yeah, I mean,
I
someone
believe
should really look up this.
prostitution's also legal in Canada.
No, that's always he's talking about the person thing someone linked. Annie Hart 12, I believe it is.
Yeah, she posted a. Here, let me bring it up and read it.
I personally believe people blame games so that way they can try to come up with an excuse not to get locked up just because they didn't want to fucking listen or act upon the way that they were whenever they should have been grown or were grown up from their parents teaching them, well, hopefully teaching them what was right from wrong and just not giving a fuck what society thinks.
Why is there a
I like
picture of
that
a
damn
church
place. It's part of the tourist attractions.
the moment that you open up this article? I feel like there's a greater trend that we're seeing here.
But he told police that the bloodletting was part of an online role-playing game called Mabinogi.
How did it help him? Is he
think-
looking for a scapegoat? Because honestly, how did it help him? At what point in
I'm
time
gonna-
was he like, this is how it helped me in game?
I'm gonna end my devil's advocate to make a comment on it, and I believe he probably stated it. One, how old was he? Did it say he was? No, apparently he was 21. But maybe he said it in hopes of it being pushed blame off of him, or to somehow help him in a court case. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I can see that happening. First of all, I've seen Mabinogi. That doesn't seem like the game where you bleed stuff.
Apparently you do. Well, I just, I don't understand a lot of that stupid crap and people try to use for excuses for games anyway. Maybe that's what I should do, is go pet somebody's dog, wait until it bites me, and then sue Nintendo because I was petting too many dogs.
I mean, Nintendogs taught you it's okay to pet every dog you meet.
Right?
So therefore, if you're not allowed to do
Well-
that, it's on them.
Well, in all honesty, that is made for children. Shouldn't Nintendogs also either make a warning in there saying, hey, don't go pet all dogs, or include in their game certain
They probably
dogs that
do.
show signs of biting?
Unless,
Probably in the
maybe
manual,
rewarded
man.
for not petting.
unless Nintendogs is like brilliantly trying to wean out the gene pool.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think that you might be going a little too much on hating Nintendo, though. That's a lawsuit.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, this one's hard. I tried to play devil's advocate, and I feel like I hit a couple points, but other than that, I must say that generally I personally do not believe video games cause violence in children. I believe it is a definitely a catalyst. It can be a catalyst under the right conditions, but I don't
I
believe
think
think
it is
you
a sole
have to have
cause.
something underlying beforehand.
Exactly.
Underlying or just a complete lack of parental guidance in general.
No, that's what it all comes back to, in my opinion. It's all their parents' fault. I'm sorry, I've played video games forever. My parents told me it's not okay to go beat people to death and rob and all that shit. I'm sorry, I don't go and do none of that.
Parents are mental disorder.
Parents are
It's
mental
not.
dis-
Let's not
Or, he said
leave
or.
out mental disorder.
No, that is very true as well. But it's just,
Because you could have some kids that were raised in like the perfect family, and still, why are they the ones usually ending up as not psychopaths, as serial killers?
so they never got their ass beat when they were in school.
I was gonna say I could say that honestly, bad parenting. If you were raised by a bad parent, I could see that literally being a cause of or being classified as a mental disorder because some people just suck as parents.
Now, that also, there's another thing I would like to bring up with that. And, sometimes I see people blame their parents as an excuse. And it really annoys me because you should still be able to make your own decisions.
But
I
if
don't
you-
like unless you have a like certified medical disorder or end up getting one after or whatever. I still say it's your fault, not your parents. I'm sorry, I just don't care at that point.
Why would it be anyone else's fault anyways? Just because your parents suck
All right.
doesn't mean
Exactly.
you didn't commit the crime.
Just
They're
'cause
not the
your
ones who
parents-
pulled out the fucking gun and were like, let's see how many
Exactly.
people we can kill.
Just because your parents suck doesn't mean you didn't go run over that hooker and steal the money that floated off their body.
Right.
But
That's
it's
what
violent-
I'm waiting for, is the guy to get arrested that says, well, I got everything I ever wanted. I just want to know what it was like to run over a hooker. Why can't they be honest and say that? That's what they're thinking.
Well, if video games affected children and in any way influenced them, wouldn't people be sitting in the room in the dark listening to repetitive music and popping pills?
Not necessarily.
Because that's Pac-Man, and you see that happening a lot.
Yeah, but enough people already pop pills. We don't need any more Pac-Mans.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Now, I would say you had an issue if you were walking through Walmart going waka 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 waka.
Annie Hart saying, that's like me saying Sims is the reason why I'm pregnant at 12.
Oh my god. Hugs is trying to fight for video games being on the end of causing violence. But again, his point still makes no sense. Video games reward violent behavior. This is the #1 pastime in America's youth.
But not all video games do, so how is that a valid argument?
I mean,
Well, no one's saying that Nintendogs influences you to go out and kill people. Now, the topic is, do video games inspire violence? I think the right video game and the right presets, yes, but by themselves, I'm gonna have to say no, even though it does, in a sense, reward and desensitize you to the violence. I can't honestly say that it would, you know.
Well, yes, Mortal Kombat is I would definitely say that would be another one up there, like Grand Theft Auto. I mean, all you literally do is beat the crap out of the other guy until you kill him and there's blood everywhere. But still, it just,
I mean, but there are reasons why they have a rating on the game. Don't buy it for your kid. It's that simple.
well, that
But
just goes
have
back
you
to the
ever
fact
been
that it's not your
stopped?
family or your parents' fault.
Have you ever been stopped for buying a video game outside of your rating, though?
Yes.
You really?
When I was younger and I tried to buy Resident Evil, the first one, when it came out, I was not able to. They go, you're not 18. I was like, really?
Yeah. Well, good on them. They've never stopped me, but shit, good on them.
I mean, do you get ID'd every time you go to buy alcohol?
Not as young as I used to be, but no, I don't get ID'd anymore.
I think when your hairline starts receding, they stop.
I don't have
Yeah.
that problem.
Ah, come on.
But I mean, I've been drinking since I'm 15, you know. So, and alcohol kills more people than video games, right?
Well, that one I don't actually know.
I am sure, because
Technically, video games don't kill people. People kill people. Blame it on video games.
you can say the same thing for alcohol.
Yeah, I think alcohol does not cause violence.
I mean-
it just.
I don't think it either. Whenever I drink, I'm happy as shit and just don't shut up.
I think alcohol as well have the potential to, cause violence under the right catalyst, the same as video games. But
But you
Yeah.
don't see any legislation in effect to ban alcohol.
well, they called it the
Well,
prohibition.
I was about to say-
And how well did that work, people?
I'm just
It's gonna be
saying.
the same thing if they try to ban video games. Oh, you can't do video games anymore. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, play video games in hidden rooms in apartments. Dude, well, why can't we do that? That'd be even more fun.
Hey, Damocles, your statement is irrelevant because of that Korean kid that binge played WoW until he starved to death.
I thought it was because he did other things too, like not pee for days at a time.
Because of the video game.
He literally
I'm-
just sat there, not stopped.
If you can deny your body's physiological needs,
I'm sorry, if you
some
can go-
hardcore shit.
I was gonna say, if you can go that long without needing to get up and go piss anyway, that you deserve props on that one. Fuck that.
Right? See, what we should have covered was, are video games addictive?
No, I would have much rather gone. Why is it sex in video games or even in movies is more
Taboo.
taboo than
Ripping somebody's
violence?
head off?
Yeah.
Right.
Why can I go around and
See
just
people
shoot
beat the
people
living
for the
shit out of
hell
each
out
other.
of it? Or for the hell of it? And that's acceptable.
Repeat what, Damocles?
Except if you show a nipple, but oh my god.
Now it's rated
Yeah,
A,
you get-
A for adult.
Yeah, exactly. You start at the A ratings, let alone if you go just a little bit further, you're getting straight up triple X rating. Not going to sell your shit in like half the countries.
Right? Your game is limited to online markets of a specific niche at this point.
Pretty much.
I mean, look at what happened to Mass Effect, and they just faded to black.
Mm.
They
I
did
just,
catch a
that's
lot of
so
flack
stupid.
for that, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mass Effect, and then you've got Witcher
Fable?
3.
Wasn't Titanic, was that even rated R? I don't
I don't
remember. It was
think
a long
so.
time.
Well, what if we take this in a slightly different... If video games affect you, violently, they could say also affect you, and you could say the same for movies as well. For instance,
Well,
what's that popular reality, 12 and pregnant or something like
16
that?
and pregnant.
Yeah,
Wow,
whatever.
Warren.
Whatever. But what they're
Yeah, you're moving
essentially
down,
doing is they're glamorizing it.
Of course they are.
So does that affect people? Does it begin to... They're creating an atmosphere of it being okay. And you could say with Grand Theft Auto, it's creating an atmosphere of it being okay.
I agree that, the 16 and pregnant thing, it is kind of making it okay with everybody because they're basically bringing it to the spotlight. Everybody is kind of, oh, this girl did it, and she got famous for it. She's getting money, she's getting everything, and it just, because of that, it just,
Popular culture will continue to control popular culture.
because people
And
are
Grand
ignorant.
Theft Auto kind of classifies as popular culture, though.
But
But-
people who continue to play video games for the majority of their time are not part of popular culture.
I
But-
think...
That's not
we could-
necessarily true anymore.
That's also different because it's a video game. It's not real. You don't see this.
Mhm.
It's not being glamorized on television, reality TV shows.
No.
It's not.
As graphics improve and it becomes less pixely and it becomes more, more and more realistic and less pixely, less detached. It becomes more realistic. It becomes more believable. At what point does it become really any different than, say, a reality TV show? If you could,
Because a reality TV show is much easier to watch than
I was
playing a
gonna say,
video game.
but let's say, for instance, we create a TV show completely CG at one point where you cannot tell the difference between the CG and the real show. One of them's completely false and fantasy, and you do the same thing. Is it then anything different? At that point, it's kind of, it's still affecting people, it's still glamorizing it. And video games are very rapidly approaching more realistic levels, to the point where the desensitization isn't just, hey, it's only pixels. It's getting to the point where these are believable looking people.
Eh.
But what's your arguments for movies then?
I believe movies do as well. I mean, the Saw movies, you could argue that people would mimic those. Dexter as well, as Annie Hart has stated, Dexter kind of makes the murderer the hero of that. He's the main character. He's the protagonist.
It's true, but nobody's went and blamed them going and murdering a bunch of people, putting their bodies in the river, not river,
That's
lake,
true that
whatever
they-
the hell it was. That's yet
true
to
that
happen.
they haven't blamed it, but does it add to the justification of it? At least in their minds, I could see it does add to the justification of doing it.
If you're really going to use a TV show or something like that to justify means to go kill somebody, though, you already are fucked up in the head prior to ever doing it.
I mean, it's always coming back to fucked up in the head. And just the reality TV shows, I do believe, are more
All need to be
glamorizing
taken
things.
off.
The news channels that are going on and trying to do, I hate to say recently, the race baiting thing. It just, lately that's been the thing, is that you get the constant, what's the word for it? Spotlight on certain things, and the crowd's just going to go for that because it's no longer a bad thing. It's like watching what's that, Mortel, whatever, the whole "you are not the father" shit.
Maury.
I don't watch none of that stuff.
Maury
Apparently he
Povich.
does, though.
I had to share my house with somebody who was pretty
Yeah.
much your typical wasted life. But yes,
Anyway, back to the whole Mass
Te-
Effect
I-
thing real
again-
quick.
Mass Effect? All right.
As for the whole nudity and sex things like that in video games, I personally think it's stupid. Like, the rating thing changes so much. That's why I was asking about Titanic. Titanic was rated PG-13. There's full fucking nudity in that. Even though, granted, it may only be one scene, but still, who's sit there and say, okay, well then you can rate or have one scene in a video game, and it still shouldn't matter.
Right. And then after Mass Effect, it was Dragon Age.
Mm. Well, it's just, I don't know. It's stupid. You're gonna sit there and try to say things like that. Can't be in video games. You can't be in this. But yet you sit there. Sorry, you see stuff on the news. Well, oh, this guy raped that person, and they sit there and show like half of the clip of what all's going on the news station. And they go, oh, we can't show the rest.
I think Hugs definitely put it best. It's a lot easier to swallow, according to Hug, to swallow the idea of kids running around mimicking violent actions than kids running around mimicking sexual action.
So I just did a quick study. I basically looked up the date of probably the first video games, which was, you could probably say, I don't know, I would say Pac-Man probably, but around the 1970s. And if you look at the murder rates,
Pac-Man.
yeah, well,
This is
1970.
all
Are you gonna
first.
try and tell me
Anyway.
Pac-Man causes
I'm not
murders?
saying
That's-
that, for instance, but what is the date that the first Grand Theft Auto came out?
I don't even
What
know.
year?
I think
All
they
I
came
know.
out in, like 95 or something. I don't know.
Okay, so if I look at this chart for 95, there were a total of 13 million murders.
1997.
Okay,
was close.
1997. Actually, this kind of disproves
I
it.
do know the first video game ever made was Pong, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Does Pong cause murders?
But, well,
Does.
if
I
you
beat
look
people
at
to death with balls.
1997 was when the first Grand Theft Auto came back. Per my argument, I am false, because in 1997 there were 13 million murders, and the next year it actually dropped.
Because everybody was playing Pac-Man.
Well, everybody was taking out their aggression in Grand Theft Auto. Video games don't cause murders. Video games prevent murders.
To
Well,
an extent.
you could also argue that, where if instead of actually going out and doing it to take out your stress or whatever reason you might have to do it, instead you just go run over some hookers in, you know, Grand Theft Auto.
I mean, in a way, isn't that Rockstar's entire intent with the game?
Who knows? Who
Maybe
knows?
that is what they're doing. They're just psychologically manipulating the rest of us.
Well, then they need to fix the Guitar Heroes, and after you get done performing, go in the back and smoke a bunch of shit and do a bunch of drugs and pass the fuck out.
Well, that's honestly as far as I have.
I mean, it's just a topic that all of us are in agreement of.
Yeah.
I still think we managed to get a couple good points across, but other than that, I mean, unless we have literally somebody in here that, you know, heartedly believes that they do, we can only go so far, because you're naturally going to support your own belief.
We just needed one of those hardcore believers, I agree. Because, I mean, too easy.
We would
Yeah.
need somebody who wasn't a gamer in here.
Let's look on our site, see if we can find somebody.
We needed
need to
one of those
invite
CNN
Hillary Clinton to one of
newscasters
these.
or whatever.
There we go. No, video games do cause violent tendencies. What video game did you play that made you want to go out and kill somebody? Candy Crush?
Clash of Clans.
That very well could make people want to go out and kill someone, you know.
I mean,
The
I
sheer
wanna hurt people because of
repetitiveness
Candy
of
Crush.
that.
I want to hurt people because of Candy Crush, and I don't even play the game. I'm like secondhand affected by Candy Crush. All these damn invites lighting up my
Yeah, I guess that was a bad example, but still. Technically, then it's not necessarily the game wanting you to, it's the people spamming you shit.
Yes.
Alrighty, I think this was a, yeah, Candy Crush just sucked. But anyway, I think this was wasn't necessarily horrible, but way too one-sided.
Definitely.
Skyrim
For
is
the
rated
debate.
mature.
Yeah.
Juna, the
Yes.
answer to your question earlier about the rating of Titanic when it originally came out, PG-13.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Well, as Hugs was saying, or whatever, that you'd much prefer kids doing a violent act than sexual act. That's understandable. I wasn't really going to go any more onto it, but since you brought it up, I will. I do agree with that fact, but first of all, they shouldn't have rated that movie PG-13 if they're going to have a nudity scene. Second of all, any game that I have ever played that has any sexual theme in it is at least rated mature or R or something like that. It's not rated for teens. So a kid shouldn't be playing it anyway.
Very
But
true.
we go back to the question of, okay, sexual things are rated M, but you have some games that are violent that are rated teen for teen.
Mm-hmm.
You know a good way we could prove it is we could publish 2 apps. We'll put out an
There we go.
app where puppies are going around, or dogs going around humping other dogs. That's the game. Game 2 is you going around as a dog, murdering the shit out of other ones. Let's see which one gets banned or needs to be removed from the App Store first.
I
Right.
jam 10 out of 10.
Bio's Remnant presents to you Puppy Humper 3.
Makes millions in 6 minutes.
And then banned in all 50 states.
It'll be the
Banned
next
across the
Flappy Bird.
world.
Screw it, let's do it. Let's get
Yeah,
real
it's
about
gonna be
this.
it's gonna
Phones
be
with the
game
app
makes 8
installed will
million.
sell for like 500 grand.
You
Right.
could even,
No,
you
it's
could
gonna
make
say
it,
game makes 8 million within 6 minutes being released. 10 minutes after game being released, games banned in all 50 states, including China and Russia.
I'm saying this is actually a pretty realistic goal. Let's have one of our programmers make 2 very basic apps. One of them in which, like you said, you gain points for the number of other dogs you go and
Hump.
attack, and then the other one, almost a mimic, you get points for the number of other dogs you go and hump. And we'll see if one gets banned, or which one is more popular and ends up making us more money.
I mean, it's a win-win situation here.
Right?
I mean, that can't be a hard game to make. I'm sorry.
I give up.
In which case, yeah, I think we should have a poll on our site. I might actually get on this one, guys.
Oh
What
gosh.
game would you play? Puppy Humper or Puppy Murderer?
Not which one would you play. I expect you to play both, but which one offends you more, or which one did you
See,
like more?
You can't call it Puppy Humper or Puppy Murderer. You have to call it Dog Simulator 1 or Dog Simulator 2.
There you go. Well, I don't want to make one more than the other, so how about Dog Simulator 1 and Dog Simulator A?
There you go.
Both of our games will be winners.
How long do you think it would take to make a app like
It-
that?
It can't
Probably
be hard. Simple
half a
graphics.
day.
Few days. I'd
Yeah,
say.
at most. We should do it
Alright.
anyways. Go through the full publishing process and just see. That way we can come back to this subject. I would hopefully next week, but let's be realistic. A couple weeks down the
Alright.
line and be like, look, let's look at stats.
But we should do it. We'll try and find a nice programmer to work on it for us. Get 2. Oh, you should. I mean, you could use the same engine for both of them. Just change the animation.
Right.
That was actually
Instead of
the plan.
gnawing, I'm gonna be doing something else there.
And do we release them one at a time, or do we release them both the same day?
You know what I think we should do though? With the
We would
dog
have-
one where they have sex, you gotta make the bed squeak noise. Gotta.
You would, you would have to release them one at a time because
Yep.
people would sit there and say, "Oh, it's the same game, so what's the point?" So you
Yeah.
would have to release one, wait, time how long it would take it to get banned, and then release the other one, probably under a different name because they're probably going to flag you right away for some bad things. Then you have to time it how long it takes you to get banned from that one.
Now, do we publish this under 40 hours a day or Bios Remnant?
40 hours a day.
I'm
not
looking
banned
forward to
quickly.
that headline for any future game. Brought to you from the people who brought you Dog Sim 1. What's Dog Sim? Oh my god. This is great.
Do one?
Dog Sim 1, also known as Puppy Humper.
You do realize once we go down this road, or once you guys go down this road, every game you make, people will expect something.
Well, that's the thing. We can make cameo appearances. Just in the game, like you play a little game and you're looking on the computer in the background. Somebody's playing some Puppy Humper.
Every
Yeah.
time, every time you look out a window, you see a dog fucking another dog.
There you go. Somewhere in
You go
every
in the
game.
bathrooms. You go in the bathrooms, and in the mirrors, it's just dogs ripping each other apart. What the fuck is wrong with this game?
I got it. The game itself will not be you going around either murdering other dogs or humping other dogs. You're going to be the person watching. Then after they're done either A, murdering, or B, humping each other, you're going to pet them.
He's a good dog. Good dog.
Or we there you go. We could do this instead. We give no objective in the game. But you have to watch the dog rip apart another dog. We can even make it one game. You put both of them in there, your dog will either rip this dog apart or it'll hump it. Now, you have the option afterwards to pet it or slap it. And we keep track of what the dog was doing and what the user reacted to and did.
Going down for animal abuse.
Right? Fine. Instead of
You guys are gonna
slapping
get
it,
peed
you
on your ass.
instead of slapping it, you give it the good old, shame on you gesture.
Until it comes and bites your damn finger off or humps your leg.
Right?
Or both.
We'll also have to look at the trends, and we'll have to see if more people go out letting their dogs hump other dogs after we do this game as well.
You'll increase the pet population single-handedly.
Alright.
Oh my god.
See more strays than ever.
Seems like we've digressed ourselves to a certain point.
Back to video games.
We're
Well,
even
that-
talking about video games, technically.
Exactly.
I mean,
Just
alright.
the creation of different video games.
What we need to ask ourselves is how much are you willing to pay for Dog Simulator 1?
Dog porn.
69.
Oh, there you go.
69
cents.
cents.
I don't know what the other one will be.
Oh god, then we'll bring up the whole conversation about furries and yeah.
Probably. Is this company a bunch of furries?
I mean, hey,
But-
a cult hit is a cult hit. Still a hit.
Uh,
We're gonna be
questionable.
the next Flappy Bird.
We are
There
gonna
we
be the
go.
next one. Well, you are. God damn it.
Hey, I will say this will probably be the most original video game ever made.
It'll just be fucked up.
Oh,
Doesn't matter
no
which one it
argument
is,
there.
it'll still be fucked up. Like, what do you do in this game? Instead of run around and hump things. That's what you don't. You shouldn't even be hump other dogs. Just anything in the game. That's the whole goal. See how many
There you
things you can
go.
hump in
The
a minute.
scary thing is that some grandma is gonna get this game for their 3-year-old grandchild,
Probably.
thinking
It's
it's
about
it's a
dogs."
cute puppy game.
All of a sudden
There
you're.
you go. That's what you could do. Like you said, you just make it a game. How many things can you
You
hump,
hump in
this
60
time
seconds.
limit? Yes, and then the other game, how many things can you maul in 60 seconds? Give them a goal, Goal and
That's what it
points.
should be. How many
No.
points can you acquire?
You know who's really gonna love that mowing game? No
Not
guesses, really? You all know her. Well, most of you know her.
Okay.
Come on, Wicked. Who mauls things all the time?
Me and Laura.
Yep.
That's
Alright.
what it should be. Anyway,
On topic, that is about the limit of my argument. I'll go back to my argument and state, as a closing for me, video games in themselves do not cause violence in children, but I can see them being a catalyst with other effects in place.
I pretty much agree. I mean, I don't see that it can cause violence in children unless there's no parental involvement at all, or there is something mentally unstable with them in the very beginning.
Yeah. What about you, Jim?
pretty much the same thing she just said.
Architect?
I mean, I agree. People should be able to make their own decisions, and if they can't make the right ones due to some kind of defect, then it's the defect's fault.
And what about you, Rolla?
I couldn't even think of a way to work for that statement anyways. It's just a simple no. There's
I
too
tried as
many
hard as I
outside
could.
factors.
Alright, well that's all I have. Unless anyone wants to add anything other than that,
It
thank
is
you guys for
probably a
watching.
good idea. None
No.
of you seem to have a job with small children. You know what? I raised a perfectly normal brother. So,
I don't know if I raised perfectly normal siblings. I'm pretty sure my sister and my brother are kind of crazy, so.
Yeah, they spend all days going up and down pipes.
Either way, I
Are we
think that's
closing?
wrapping it up.
Yes.
Next week I will be choosing the topic. So we will see what I'll have in store. Then the next week will be Orden. It will be starting at 6:30 next week on Wednesday.
I mean, it will be Erola.
Yeah, roll is next.
Yeah, Irola. That other guy.
Wait, who's next? No, Wicked's next and then me, right?
Robbie.
Yeah, I said
Yes.
next week is me, the next week is you.
Okay, yeah, let's not try and confuse that, because I'll forget.
Yeah,
Who's
well,
getting chased by the cops?
it's Erola.
Irola that found you.
It's because we were talking about making a humping game with dogs in it, man. We're screwed.
Alright, thank you guys
Alright.
for joining us, and look forward on the app market to Pumpy Humper 1 and Pumpy Baller 1.
Yeah.